All right, number 17. This is a question testing whether you understand what makes a function versus a non-function. And so we're looking at three tables, and we just have to tell whether they might be functions or they cannot be functions. So I want to remind you of a few things. This is very similar to the standard F1 that we studied in first semester. So for something to be a function, here's the rule. Every input, or x value, has one and only one output, a y value. So practically speaking, what that means is all the outputs, they can show up many times. Doesn't matter. The outputs, the y's, can show up many times. Just like this table has 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That's not necessarily a problem. That's fine. But it says if inputs, so x values, they show up more than one time, then they must always have the same output. And the analogy I like to use is there's a function called what's your name. You're very familiar with this function. Suppose I ask you your name. I say, what's your name? And you say, my name is Sam. Okay, so the input is you. I'm asking you what's your name. The output is your name, Sam. If I ask you again, what's your name? Sam. I ask you again, what's your name? Sam. That's totally fine. I'm giving the same input multiple times. I'm asking you what your name is. If I ask somebody else what their name is, so another input, I ask someone else what's your name, they might say Steve. That's fine. If I ask another person, what's your name? Sam. That's also fine, right? We could have more than one person with the name Sam. All that is good. That all works with the function what's your name. You're very familiar with that. Now, I've been asking you what's your name? Sam. What's your name? Sam. The next day I come in and I say, what's your name? And you say, it's Barbara. Well, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like your name is Sam. So that's a violation of the function because I've had the same input, which is asking you what's your name, and I'm getting two different outputs. One day you say Sam, the next day you say Barbara. That's not a function. That's not allowed. That's not legal. Same input, I have to get the same output. So let's take a look at the tables now. Table A, you'll notice that it has this input of 1 twice. Now that's not necessarily a problem, but what you notice is this time it's 3 and this time it's 4. These outputs are not good. So I have the same input but two different outputs. So this is not allowed. Okay, that means this cannot be a function. If you look at the second table, all these inputs are different inputs. So there's no way for this to show us that it's not a function if all these inputs are different. We'd have to have an input show up twice. In fact, now that I look at I found this problem, so it can't be a function, but there's also this one right here. Notice this. The input 4 also shows up twice, and I get two different outputs. So that's also not allowed. So it cannot be a function. But this one, different inputs the whole time, it doesn't really matter what the outputs are, right? This is like, this is a Sam, this is a Sam, this is a Sam, and this is a Steve, and this is a Steve. That's totally fine. And the third one, again, all different outputs, all different inputs, -2, 0, 1, 3, 4. Same output all the time. That's fine. It's no problem. You can have the same output for multiple different inputs. What you can't do is this. You can't have two inputs and have different outputs for them in order for it to be a function.